Alrighty guys, we're back for Equipment Mice, and this is a Bloomburrow standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have a whole bunch of Valiant Mice packed in, like all 4 Flowerfoot Swordmaster, all 4 Heartfire Hero, and all 4 Emberheart Challengers. All of these have pretty excellent Valiant abilities. More mice packed in, Mabel, heir to the Cragflame. It's a 3-mana 3/3. Other mice you control get +1/+1. When it enters, you create Cragflame, a legendary colorless equipment artifact token with equipped creature gets +1/+1 and vigilance and trample and haste. Beautiful stuff, man. The equip cost is only 2 on that too, which honestly isn't half bad for all those keyword abilities. So those are the mice packed in. Now we have a whole bunch of equipments to work well with those Valiant abilities as well, like all 4 Lavaspur Boots. I think it's going to be pretty decent in here. Really like that Ward 1, of course. We have a 1 of Lost Jitte as well. See if that does a thing today. Got some new stuff. Blacksmith's Talent. It's a 1-mana class. And when it enters, you create a sword, which is just equipment. It equips for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. So it's not like the best equipment in the world, but just 1 mana for 2 cards on the board. Okay. Now at level 2 for 2 and a red. At the beginning of combat on your turn, attach target equipment you control to up to 1 target creature you control. That's not half bad, dude. Yeah, for 3 mana, I mean, you're spending a lot of mana on this in general, but I'll tell you what, if you actually have time for the setup, there are some pretty good equipments that you would not mind shuffling around on your creatures, especially if you're activating all those Valiant abilities at the same time. At level 3 on here too for 3 and a red, pretty steep. Now, during your turn, equipped creatures you control have double strike and haste. Okay, nice. So if you ever actually get all 3 levels on this, that's going to be pretty darn powerful, man. Do have other equipment packed in. We have all 4 Barbed Batterfist. It has 4 Mirrodin, so it comes down with a Rebel, and it attaches itself to that Rebel, and then equipped creature gets +1/-1. The equip cost is only 1, which is pretty important, as you could make that free easily with something like Bladehold War-Whip here. Equip abilities you activate of other equipment cost 1 less to activate. Equipped creature has double strike. This also has 4 Mirrodin, so it comes out with a Rebel. And also the equip cost is pretty steep on this at 3, a red and a white. So yeah, making things like the Batterfist free to equip, as well as like Lavaspur Boots, as well as the Lost Jitte as well. It's going to be pretty good. There's a reason we have all 4 of them on the top end. Other cards that work well with equipments, we have a couple Rebel Salvos in here. Hopefully it's just 1 red mana to do 5 damage to creature or planeswalker. That permanent loses indestructible until end of turn as well. That is pretty solid piece of removal. We also have a couple Spring-Loaded Sawblades for just more artifacts packed in here. It's a 2 mana flash. When it enters, it deals 5 damage to target tapped creature an opponent controls, which actually isn't half bad, especially when you have craft with an artifact too. You can flip this into the Chariot, which is a 5/5 crew, only 1. Or you can tap 2 other untapped artifacts you control and have this become an artifact creature until end of turn, which is actually pretty decent, man, if you're just tapping a couple equipments anyways. All these extra artifacts is going to work well with Dowsing Device here. This is a 2 mana artifact, and when Dowsing Device or another artifact you control enters, up to 1 target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. So another way to activate Valiant abilities, another way to give haste. Then also transform Dowsing Device if you control 4 or more artifacts, which I think is going to be really easy to go ahead and flip this into the Geode Grotto, which more mana is always good, but it also has that bottom ability, which I'm not going to take the time to go over right now. And why is more mana always good? Well, we do have 22 land in here total, but I find that equipped decks like this always want a lot of mana on the board anyways, especially when you're shuffling around all of your equipment. Over in the mana base, we're opting for the fast land, as well as a couple Rockface Village. That's definitely noteworthy, as that's a way to target your mice and give them haste. And then a couple Restless Bivouacs too. I do think that the mana base is going to be pretty greedy overall, so just having more dual lands sounds fine and dandy to me, leaning a little red because that's what the deck is leaning towards. Did I miss anything, guys? Did I go over the Sword of Vengeance? I don't know, but it's another top-end equipment. There it is. Okay, over in the honorable mentions, the Bane Splitter. We've been seeing a lot of people play with Bane Splitter. Feels a little weird not having it in here. Couldn't really find room. It's just not what I was doing for this deck in particular. Honorable mention for a reason. X-Gold Halberd didn't make the cut over the Batterfist because the Batterfist equipment cost is just a little bit cheaper. Just equip 1 versus the Halberd Equip 3. I think the Equip 1's going to be much better. Again, we're shuffling around the equipments to activate the Valiant abilities, so... Manifold Mouse didn't make the cut. Is that a mistake? Maybe. Honorable mention for a reason. Then we have some other, like, budget-friendly options for if you don't have all of your Mabels or whatever, then this Seedglaive Mentor could be pretty cool, right? Vigilance Haste is no joke, and then it has that Valiant ability too. And then I thought about more mice. Whiskervale Forerunner is a card to consider. And then I thought about Cavern of Souls, but I think that's actually going to hold us up more than it helps us in this deck list in particular. Okay, guys. Do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. Heck yeah, we do. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I have no idea, man. I hope it's good. I really like equipment builds. I've been loving the mice, if you guys can't tell, right? I think this might already be like my third video with mice. Don't quote me on that, but it's a great hand, dude. Heck yeah. Let's get that Heartfire Hero down. Oh, yeah. Good stuff, good stuff. Island. Yep, we just dump it all onto the board, no worries, right? I'd rather get double Heartfire Hero down over... I guess we should have swung first, actually, since that was going to be the original plan. Okay, there we go. Okay. Didn't get punished for anything. Yeah, just dump it all onto the board, no worries at all. Restless Bivouac. Yeah, that's a lot of mana, but the Bivouac might come in handy. Might want to take the turn to just double down on the boots, get a couple extra counters. Because next turn we can give the Bladehold War-Whip's Rebel haste on the boots then. Oh, they're gonna pop one of the heroes, or return it to hand actually. Oh, that's fine. I'll stay on task here. Get that 3 through, and then still consider the War-Whip for next turn. Alright. Get the mountain down. A counterspell would really suck. But I'm not too concerned about that. Let's do this. Yeah, well, we have the Heartfire Hero on the board right now, too, and about to get the other hero down. If it's a counterspell, it is what it is. Totally fine. It would be a really good counter for the opponent, though. So it might just be more tempo plays then, if that's what they're planning. With that, we are going to... the equip cost is free, so we're still going to be able to play the other Heartfire Hero. So we'll equip this over here. And then we'll equip it back for an extra counter. And then we'll equip it back for the haste. Alright. There we go. Okay, extra counter, and then equip it back for the haste. And we want it on the double strike creature over like the other hero. We'll still get the other hero down and get the counter on it for the turn, but... Here comes some tempo. Quick study. Oh, buddy, we just had a really good turn. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's get that Heartfire Hero down. Re-equip on that hero, get that counter. And which one do I want to have the ward? Probably back onto the double strike creature, right? Yeah, like next turn, if they find a way to... Yeah, if they found a way to get through some of these creatures, if we got to keep like one creature back, swinging with that Restless Bivouac was still going to be incredible for us. GG opponent. Yeah, Bladehold War-Whip with the Lavaspur Boots was pretty silly, huh? Let's keep the ball rolling. Whoa, 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 whoa. Was that what I think it was? Oh, okay. I thought I finally finished up my weekly wins. I did not, unfortunately. Some weeks here, man. I mean, the wins have been pretty tough. Some weeks I get to like the 12 weekly wins and I'm like, am I going to get the last 3? I might not. But it looks like we might actually finish the weekly wins this week. Nice. That's good. That's good at least. All right. Definitely slower than the last hand, but I don't know if we can complain about this. Well, let's see what we see at the top, because we could see a 1-drop easily. I don't want to get the Lavaspur Boots down right now when we have the Bivouac for the turn. Well, another Forge. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just get the Bivouac down. Get that down and established. Lavaspur Boots can come down another time. Whoop, buddy. We got like Jeskai. Oh. Jeskai Convoke, dude. That's the opponent's turn too, guys. Well, I don't think they could ask for much more than that. I don't know about this one, man. Let's go. That Dowsing Device, getting that established could be pretty good over the Batterfist, because gives haste to the Mabel off of her own ability here, right? So I don't know about this one anyways, man. That was just an incredible turn 2. Turn 3 Evangelist. We're pretty much dead next turn then, right? Another Dowsing Device. We could also go Bladehold. Yeah, the haste doesn't matter much when we're going to be forced to block. Alright, we're still going to stick to it though. And then they do have a double block if they wanted to, but they don't want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, 11, and then another 7. So they have 18 damage. So we're just going to go for the fun swing. Honestly, maybe they block and miss lethal. No, they take the 4. Good game, opponent. Yeah, that I don't know if we could have outpaced that without more 1-drop blockers, but even then, that was just, that was extreme. So even if we kept the blocker back, they still found Case of the Gateway Express anyways, so. GG, opponent. Well, onwards to the next one. I think we could easily get a few more wins this evening. Yeah, with how mice have been, too, like, a lot of people's mono red lists are leaning heavily mice, which is actually really cool, right? Yeah, I think that we just have so much value packed in that regardless of the fact that we're trying to go equipment, which usually people like consider very janky, I think that the Valiant just really brings something to the table. Also, as we get later and later into the evening, I've been struggling to find matches. So while I have you here, guys, we're only 13 minutes in, but I might as well bring it up now. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. All right. I like it. We keep this. Blacksmith's talent. I'd love to see that do a thing today. Mountain Heartfire Hero. Speaking of mice. Tempted by the Dowsing Device. I don't think so, though. Get the Challenger swing through. And since we went first, I do think we can outpace them. So we'll see what they pull off here on turn 2, and we'll see who's actually the defenders. Right, so Dowsing Device was tempting because of the Mabel setup again, but yeah. Manifold Mouse, all right, double strike. Start swinging. Rebel Salvo is going to be pretty good when it comes time. Take care of that Manifold Mouse, which we might honestly just want to take the turn to do, especially now that we have a 1-mana card to do as well. Getting rid of the Manifold Mouse. Now I'm gonna hold off another turn, as I'm still convinced that we can outpace a little bit. Buff the Challenger to a 3-3 and get a good swing, because I don't think they block. I do believe that we can still outpace this, and but at any point, both of us could be in some serious danger. They probably want to give Heartfire Hero the double strike for the counter, because now they don't have the swing with the hero, and they just see one off the top. But I guess since they found... Okay. Alright, I'm just going to take the 4 because I want to keep Mabel around. Yeah, they found mana, so it ended up working out really nicely for them. They got the Surveil land packed in. And it's Boros, it's not mono red. Slick shot show off, yikes. Blacksmith's talent could be really good. So mana off the top would have been extremely good for us. At what point do we just decide, like, oh, we're going to die next turn? So, give me 1 second, opponent. I am thinking, buddy. A lot to consider here, as Challenger's really good. Based off the Cragflame onto the hero is really good. The equip cost is 2, though. Yeah, I'm thinking like Salvo onto the mouse. I'm going to say we're going to continue to outpace. We're going to go Heartfire Hero, give it haste with the Cragflame. That's a really tough decision because we could try to find mana off the top with the Challenger, but then we don't have the haste on the hero, which we're trying to outpace. So we're just going to go for it, man. And a double block here would be really good. We're at 12. 10 going through. They take the 10 and try for lethal next turn. Man, that's a tough decision. I'm going for it, though. We have Vigilance on the hero at the very least. They do go for the double block, actually, and we're going to take care of the Manifold Mouse because the double strike is easily the deadliest thing on that board right now. So the opponent goes down to 8. We lose the buff on the mice. But I think we might be okay here. Ace going wide with the Swordmaster. And they find some mana, so this could be super deadly. They're going to buff both of their mice. The Challenger also gets prowess. So if they're looking at like dropping something on the Swordmasters, it wouldn't be terrible. Because Hero Challenger gets the buff from the Swordmaster. Challenger gets the prowess buff. So yeah, it's good. It's really good. Oh. Holy cow, dude. Burning Sun's Fury, what a play from the opponent. How cool is that? They got lethal on the board, which means we are forced to block. And guess what? We can't even block the Heartfire Hero because that would still be lethal damage. We're going to block the Challenger. What a play. How cool was that? We can't even be mad about that, dude. Burning Sun's Fury. Watch out for that, huh? Oh, but the ping, bro. Oh. So we actually get there off the prowess. I actually feel a little bit bad here as we were able to get there. I feel bad just because that play was so freaking sick. But also losing the Heartfire Hero, that means they still lost the 3, which means we just had enough damage. Very cool. Very nice stuff. Instead of removing anything, by the way, like the Rebel Salvo is an example. If they still had a block, we could have removed it with the Salvo. But we also could have played the Lavaspur Boots as well to get the prowess through, since they were tapped out. Cool stuff, opponent. I like it, buddy. All right. So, we did it. We got the weekly wins done. Good stuff, man. I'm happy about that. Yeah, it's like I said, wins have been pretty rough. They've all the opponents have really been bringing it to the table. Been super uphill battles every game. Guys, while I have you here in the actual middle of the video too, make sure you do the YouTube stuff as well. If you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And then also, if you like the channel, consider subscribing as well. And thank you, thank you. We go first. Really feel like I can't complain too much about these hands. The hands have been pretty darn good, right? I will float this Vantage around the board until the opponent shows up. Oh, they dropped them all again. Are they going to go down to 5? That's the question. Oh, down to 6. Heartfire Hero. Turn 1 Hero, turn 2 Boots is actually pretty good, but it's a similar concept to turn 1 Boots, turn 2 Hero. Right? Because we'd give it haste. It would be like exactly the same. So that's something to consider. You know, if you didn't want your creature to get eaten by a cut down or something. Hero bounce back to hand. It's a good tempo play. Completely taking our turn away. But at least we get to keep the boots on the board. Which is a very different thing that we would be saying if this was like a Monstrous Rage style build. As the Monstrous Rage would just completely, would get obliterated. Monstrous Rage would be gone. We'd be very sad about that. Mana off the top, of course, would be great, but pretty much anything's fine. We're going to try to stick to it, see if they counter the Heartfire Hero. Might just be more tempo. Might have a swing. It's going to be an impulse. Okay. All right. Yeah, mana off the top would be really good for us, though. I think depending, I mean, I'm going to say depending if the opponent keeps anything open, but I'm pretty sure they're going to play a land and pass it back. So probably don't want to spend all 3 mana on something. Multiple things on the same turn would be much better. Sawblades does take care of Hadijin. Ooh, but actually Hadijin isn't tapped right now. We should take the turn to just establish as much as possible here, right? We could keep the Spring-Loaded Sawblades open for the turn, though, too. They might actually take this damage. No, there's no way, right? You guys think we could get this through? No, I shouldn't risk it. I think we might be able to get it through. But sometimes the opponents see right through the play, or they have another Jin in hand anyway, so they don't mind, like, stopping a little damage. Wow. I really hope they swing with that Hottie Jin, bro. Other words, this was all for nothing. Come on. Come on. Swing. Swing. Come on. Here it comes. They're gonna swing. They got this. They really, really want to get that 2 damage through. Yeah. All right. Spring-Loaded Sawblades. We're going to have a whole other problem here in a second, but still, this is definitely worthwhile. Oh. A no mana negate, guys. Oh, crap, because it's 1 less and 1 blue less because of the Shoreless Sea. Oh, no. Hey, another loaded Sawblades off the top. Guys, do you think it's another no mana? Yeah, I'm going to not swing with the Heartfire Hero. That's a really tough decision, but I think we can grow it above these trades. They have 2 cards remaining in hand. It could easily be another counterspell. Some mana off the top would be great. There's a reason we got 22 instead of like 19 in here for sure. Oh no, guys. What a combo on the board right now that the opponent has. Oh, it lands, it lands. Okay. Whew. No attacks. Yeah, like, we could try to get the Heartfire Hero damage through, but at any point, the opponent could call our bluff, and then we'd be in a lot of danger. Whereas just, like, keeping this back, not doing anything too risky, I think we still have a good chance against Mono Blue, especially if they fizzle out here without any card draw, which I do think is a possibility. They could easily have Into the Floodmaw, because it cost 1 blue less to cast. They do go for the swing, another flood counter. So things cost 2 blue less to cast, right? That's pretty scary, man. Come on, mana off the top in desperate need. And the problem is too, oh, it's not. Yeah, the problem is too, even if we find the mana, does our 3-drop just get countered anyways? They're gonna start. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be at lethal damage in no time here. The Heartfire Hero was still a really good draw, even though we're only at 2 mana. That's pretty good, man. Sword of Vengeance, come on, this one of, come on, do the thing, right? Okay. I don't know what these last 2 cards are, but they're really holding us up right now. We're just going to go for the swing. We are trying to be the aggro players here. I'm not going to worry too much about the damage from the Shoreless Sea until we have to, which will be next turn, quite literally. Rona's Vortex. Pay the ward. Not a big deal for the opponent. Bounce the hero back to hand, only hitting 2 through. Big tempo plays from the opponent for sure. All right, 2-turn clock now that they found their 6th island. So we have 1 turn after this. We're going to have to establish some blockers. Oh, Flow of Knowledge. That's got to be game, right? I'm pretty sure. Because now they can tempo any blockers that we play, most likely, right? But then also, anything that we could possibly find. Yeah, like a Rebel Salvo. Right, if they play an island, it's a 7/7. So we still have the block to potentially kill it, but then they just counter. But we got to try it. There's a chance that they don't have it in hand. No attacks. End turn. We're 13 cards into the build. 22 total mana, only seeing 2 of them. So 20 cards in the build are actually land right now. Go for Impulse. Yeah, just find like any counter spell to make sure that they could get this through. Or they want to tempo the Heartfire Hero too, of course. Which maybe means we had a better chance of surviving the turn if we played both Swordmasters to at least keep 1 chump blocker. No tempo. So we get the block, so next thing we have to worry about, of course, is going to be the counterspell, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be the counterspell. Excuse me, guys. We'll let this 2 hit first. 2 to the opponent's face. Alright. Counterspell? Very likely. And if it's not, it's probably something else that could help them find a counterspell too. Yeah, at this point, a 3rd mana would just mean us dumping our entire hand onto the board, all of our 1-drops, to make sure we can block this guy. It wasn't mana, but we can still attempt a couple 1-drops. Oh, wow. Change the equation in the build. Oh, wow. Long River's Pool for free, of course, because of the Shore of the Sea. Dude, that's actually terrifying. 1 more counterspell, or again, tempo play means we're out of this game. So you know what's funny then? Actually, something that really would have come in handy, of course, the honorable mention. the Cavern of Souls, right? Good game opponent. Brutal stuff. Not seeing mana for that long, it definitely felt a little unlucky. But at 22, you know, it's not like we have 24 in here. But in the top 14 cards, only seeing the 2. Yeah, I'd call that unlucky. 50% total win rate. Guys, I think we can end on a high note. Quite successfully, actually. I like mice with equipment. Kind of feels all right. I'd like to showcase more depth to the deck, though, right? I think it can do a lot more than what it's showcasing. So yeah, I think we can end on a high note pretty effectively here. All right, let's keep this. Start with a turn 1, probably. Turn 1, turn 2, worry about Bivouac later. Because we might find more untapped mana off the top as well. All right. Challenger. Getting the creature down's better than the Lost Jitte, right? I hope so. Because that's a play that we could do next turn and buff the prowess. That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, Bivouac. We don't want to... We could have tried to see a mana off the top. It's still better to get that extra counter on the hero, though, right? All right. End turn. I'm pretty sure... This does not say sorcery speed. I'm pretty sure I checked that in an earlier video this week. Union of the third path. Haha, that's a lot of life gain, dude. Back up to 20, easy peasy. Okay. Let's go ahead, plug that extra counter while we have it, because I'm pretty sure the extra counter is going to be what we end up doing. Okay. We'll probably do it again here, too. Restless Bivouac number 2. There's only 2 in here, so... No haste on the Batterfist. Board wipe could come down next turn. It's just going to be the Dowsing Device, right? Because it's a little bit of extra damage coming through right here, right now. Back down to 12. Another counter on the Lost Jitte, and I'm going to hold that back as I do believe we are in danger of a board wipe. Luckily, if it's 4 mana board wipe, it's destroy. Oh, temporary lockdown is so brutal, man. So, untap land, target creature can't block this turn. It doesn't really matter, right? Since it's exiling anyways. And it's taking our entire board, so this is what Restless Bivouac is in here for as well. We could just take the turn, start swinging with the Bivouac. It's going to be 3 for the first turn here. Or we could take the turn and get the Swordmaster established, but now we're going to have an issue where we continuously run into more and more board wipes. So just swinging with Bivouac could be pretty good. But this is a mouse deck. Darn it. We're going for mice. Let's do it. Yeah, lockdown was way worse than whatever I was expecting, man. That was really bad. Oh no, back up to 18. They still have 2 open. They could have a counter spell here easily, a spot removal easily. If it's spot removal open for the Restless Bivouac, then we're in trouble. I mean, we're always in trouble at this point, right? So yeah, I don't want them to pop the Restless Bivouac that easily because that might literally be the only way we can win later on. So we're just going to keep trying to establish here. We'll equip the Blacksmith's Talent Sword for 2 mana onto the actual Swordmaster. See what they do. Swing for 5. All right, down to 13. And they drop a deduce. They are not afraid of this board state. They were not afraid to take that 5. The Union of the Third Path, guys, has literally gained them like 12 life this game or more. It might literally have gained them the 13 life, which is terrifying. Hey, Mabel isn't bad. I don't mind that. I also don't mind paying for the Blacksmith's Talent. This might also be the turn where we power up Bivouac on number 1. It should probably be Mabel though, right? We gotta be prepared for the Restless Anchorage block though. So we don't want to swing with this guy. Tough decisions, man. Maybe it is Blacksmith's talent, right? Because last turn I said we gotta set up as much as possible. And that includes this. So if we go like this, swap the sword over like that, it's another 5 here. But we can only swing with the 3-2 because it's the only one that trades into the Anchorage. Because we don't want them to power up Anchorage and take the Swordmaster away. When going wide is going to be pretty important. Down to 10. What do they got for the turn? More card draw then, right? Silver Scrutiny, draw 3. Yeah, more setup. How do you guys feel about that? The opponent's deck list looks incredibly terrifying. Lavaspur Boots. A counterspell on the Mabel would be devastating, but it has to be coming up here soon, right? Maybe we save the Mabel as a surprise and try the Sword of Vengeance and let them counter this instead. That's so tough, dude. It's a tough decision. I think Mabel is one that we don't want to get countered, and Sword of Vengeance is pretty good, but yeah, see, they're gonna... Oh, wow, and they're gonna draw 2 and discard here too, so they really tapped a lot. They only have 2 open. That could still be enough for them, right? Some generic spot removal. They also have the draw on the clue. No more lies. That's a couple, I mean, that's a couple counterspells out of the opponent's hand. Opponent goes down to 5. These Restless Bivouacs are going to be so key here, bro. More mana off the top wouldn't even be a terrible thing at this point. Keeping it all open, Rebel Salvo. Is this the turn where we attempt the Bivouac swing? Yes. I know they have it all open. But they also have their entire deck in their hand. So, so we start by swapping that back over. I think, seriously, man, I think taking the turn for setup, I think that was so good. All right, let's see what the opponent has. They have Bivouac block with the Anchorage. But we have so much going on to these other creatures here. Get lost number 1. All right, we're in danger. Bivouac block. Kind of on the edge of my seat right now, guys. Are they going to block the 4 damage coming through or just get rid of the Bivouac? Bivouac, they still have 2 mana open. It's a clue. Okay, dude, I'm on the edge of my seat right now, for real. Opponent's down to 1. See, mana would have been huge there, but then we wouldn't have had the salvo, right? Because that was our draw. But like instant speed, remove the Anchorage or something, you know, with the salvo. But also we only have 1 equipment on the board. White Sun's Twilight, going back up to 8. That's actually not that bad, is it? No great way to give haste to our creatures, though. Bivouac, see, mana off the top, man, but so much life gain. The sword. Now's the time to get Mabel down while they're tapped out. Dude, this temporary lockdown, that was so devastating. Gonna be in trouble. Wait a minute, guys. The Cragflame gives haste, so we're still doing a huge amount of damage here as we get a free equip. Has vigilance too, so we still have the block if we need it. But I'll tell you what, man, the opponent has drawn so much, they've gained so much, they're still drawing cards. They might even draw off the clue here too. At some point, we'd like to believe that they'd run out at some point, but realistically, they might not. We go full swing, 7 coming through. They have a block on the anchorage, but they don't know we have Salvo. It could easily be a counter for that. What's the difference between taking 6 poison and 7 poison? Not a lot. I'm not going to risk the block with the Mabel, just in case. I don't know what the opponent could have, but mana off the top. All right. That means we play around and no more lies when they power up this Restless Anchorage. Also have a... we could also go wide here, too. Give the haste off the Cragflame to the Batterfist. 1 second, opponent. I am thinking, buddy. Depends what we want to play around. Because we could also power up Bivouac too, right? Bladehold War-Whip could come down. Give that haste, I guess. I wasn't even thinking about that because my mindset is still on 3 mana. Alright, let's see what they end up doing. They have a limited amount of mana remaining. This is the turn to win. I think going wide's better than playing around a No More Lies for the Rebel Salvo to stop the blocker. Because they still want to tap a good amount of things over here. And then they'll still have 2 remaining. And it could be spot removal. And spot removal, have the blocker with the anchorage, still means that we want a second creature on this board that can do that last 4 damage. So realistically, the best thing that they could do is gain life this turn and still have the blocker with the Restless Anchorage as well. Dude, I am on the edge of my seat for real. What do you guys think it is? Okay, they're making sure that the auto tapper doesn't mess anything up here. Demolition Field. I will grab a red source gladly. Yeah, we definitely wanted that. Now they only have 3 available though, guys, so I'm not 100% certain what it could be. 4 open. They grabbed a plains. I thought they already grabbed something for a second. Bladehold War-Whip. I suppose it could be double spot removal, which would be terrible. But we want to keep the Rebel Salvo. So we want to equip the Cragflame onto the Rebel. Oh, that means that Mabel loses 1, guys. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. I think that might be game if they find removal for one of these. Well, now, actually, they only need removal for the Rebel. Oh, it's gonna be the blocker. Rebel Salvo. Yes, there it is, guys. All right. Beautiful stuff. You couldn't ask for a better last game, huh? Got that deck win rate back up to a 60%. Feels good, feels good. Dude, I can't even tell you. I literally almost fell out of my chair. Awesome stuff. Let's go over this deck list one more time, huh? Equipment Mice. Here's the deck list again. I like it. I like it a lot. Sword of Vengeance is probably too expensive. It's a rare too. If you don't have this, don't even worry about crafting it. You can drop this. Go up something else. More removal, probably going to be fine. But I do like this too. It's a nice little janky card. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. I like it as a one of, but you don't need it in here. Same concept with the Lost Jitte too. This could be if you drop both of these though, you're probably going to want to go up some more equipment because that's the whole point of the deck. More artifacts, more equipment, something along those lines. Blacksmith's talent. This was actually pretty good. It was actually essential in that final game. I could also see going up some of those if you were dropping some of these more rare equipments that aren't necessary. The Lost Jitte is actually a really good ability though, so don't like overlook this, but if you don't have it, it's not necessary to craft, right? Lavaspur Boots is awesome as always. Heartfire Hero is awesome as always. The front end here is actually all, except for the Lost Jitte here. These are all uncommons. Then we have a common with the Batterfist, which we didn't actually get to see today. Uncommon on the Spring-Loaded Sawblades. Uncommon on the Dowsing Rod. So a lot of uncommons. Rebel Salvo, my goodness, is also uncommon. Uncommon on the Bladehold War-Whip. And then we do have the rare on the Mabel, the rare on the Emberheart, rare on the sword as well, and of course the mana base too. So it's not that expensive, I guess, kind of, sort of, right? Especially if you already have a lot of the mana base too. Restless Bivouac, dude, like even though it comes out tapped, it's still pretty important in certain deck lists, and I do think that this one is greedy enough with what colors you actually want to have open, that the Bivouac actually really helps. But I know a lot of people, last time I played with Bivouac, said like you don't want any tapped land in your aggro lists, and that's understandable, but I do actually just really like the restless lands in general, and they usually do go the extra mile for me, especially when you're up against control deck lists where they wipe the board. Sometimes the only thing you'll have left is a swing with Restless Bivouac, and it happens to be enough to get there. That means that you could potentially drop this down to 1 if you just want more untapped lands, but I don't think this coming down tapped affects this deck list a whole lot either. So Swordmaster coming down with that Offspring was huge in that last game too. Beautiful stuff. I actually don't have too much to say about the deck list because those games really showcased a lot. At first I was like, I think the deck could showcase a lot more, but then we got that beautiful last game where we just saw the deck do everything it was supposed to be doing. So like literally everything, even the Rebel Salvo, that was crazy, dude. It's such a good last game. Rockface Village though we didn't get to see today, and now you can only tap it for a red source if you're spending that mana on a creature. In other words, it's tapping for the colorless, which means you can still like tap this to play Lavaspur Boots and whatnot too, all the other artifacts. That's pretty noteworthy, honestly. Or you can tap this for the colorless, tap the plains, and still have like the Spring-Loaded Sawblades play as well. So it's actually not going to hold you up as much as you would think. And then I brought up Cavern of Souls. That was in the honorable mentions, of course. And this actually would have helped out today, especially against that mono blue list. Something to consider, but I don't know if we can go up too many of these without actually getting punished too. Guys, what would you add or take out? Let me know in the comments. Did I miss something? Something should have been in the honorable mentions maybe. Let me know. Do you actually like the Barbed Batterfist? Mainly in here, again, the equip cost is just 1. So when you do have Bladehold War-Whip, it's free, so you can shuffle it between all your Valiant creatures and whatnot. And same concept with the Lavaspur Boots. Just really neat, actually. I think it performed. I really liked this. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.